Do you guys just ever have that one friend that just won't leave your room? It just sits there for ages and just won't leave? Just go away! I'm trying to film! I mean, obviously you guys aren't filming anything because you're not the greatest music reviewer on the planet. Hey, what is up YouTube? Ginno here today with a new video essay all about the question, are Exo Legends? Yeah, obviously. No, I see this tweeted on Twitter quite a lot. It's sort of a joke, but I think on some level some people are quite serious when they say it, and we're just going to be discussing whether that is true to any extent today. Now, I'm going to be basing this entirely off their popularity and success in Korea. I'm not really going to be talking about the international sales or anything like that. I don't think it's necessarily relevant to this conversation because I don't think Exo are legends internationally by any extent. So yeah, let's discuss why they are legends. Exo have consistently been one of the best sellers in Korea ever since their debut in April 2012, and their past album sales have actually been fairly consistent. They've averaged pretty much 1.5 million album sales every time they've released a studio album. This isn't including their Chinese albums or their Japanese albums. Their latest album, The War, sold over 1.6 million copies in South Korea, and when you actually do include the Chinese one, they sold over 2 million. This makes them easily the biggest sellers in South Korea right now, and their last album, like I mentioned, The War, is actually 9th on the all-time South Korean albums list. This is in the age of streaming, and that's just an incredible amount. When we compare EXO to TVXQ, generally considered one of the biggest legends in the South Korean music industry, their sales are actually completely different. EXO at some points have tripled the amount of sales that TVXQ got at the height of their popularity. Their album sales are also consistently superior to Big Bang, generally considered one of the biggest K-pop groups out right now and in the past 5 years, although Big Bang's singles have sold quite a bit better than EXO singles. So EXO are definitely South Korea's biggest musicians out there right now in terms of sales, but can they be considered as influential as some other groups and some other solo singers? I definitely think so. I think a lot of their comebacks recently have been incredibly influential. In terms of the genres that they've chosen to go for, lots of groups after their EXO's comebacks have gone on to do very, very similar comebacks, and I don't mean necessarily concept-wise, but musically. EXO and SM have definitely been trendsetters, and it's consistent throughout EXO's whole career that they haven't been the ones following the lead, they have been the leaders. Another point I want to touch on is the quality of the vocals within EXO. Definitely, right now, they are one of the best vocal groups. Members like Baekhyun and Chen, two of my personal favourite vocalists in the industry, are just so incredibly talented. They had the shortest training times, I'm pretty sure, out of all the members. I also want to just touch on the other members because last time I made an EXO video and I didn't talk about all the members. People were hounding me in the comments to mention all the members. If I don't mention members, it's not because I don't like them, guys. It's just I didn't write it in the script, okay? Dio is a fantastic vocalist, as is Xiumin, Suho, Lei. Chenyeol's pretty good. Am I forgetting someone? I mean, Kai's a pretty decent vocalist. Sehun, not so much. I'm gonna angle the camera better. You're just cutting off the top of my quiff, and I like that part of my hair. Don't you, Kate? You like the quiff? You like the quiff, don't you? Everybody likes the quiff. Following on from the fact that they are incredible vocalists, I also want to mention that the quality of their music is very, very good. Both The War and Exodus are critically acclaimed albums, especially The War. Personally, I think that is EXO's best album, and of last year, I think it was one of the best albums last year critically. Obviously, they do have a massive label backing them with some incredible producers, but a lot of credits should go to the actual vocalists and you know, the members of EXO. Exodus as well is a superb album. It's very consistent. There are a couple songs that I'm not so keen on, but critically and musically it's very nice. And you know, EXO and Exact are also decent studio albums. They also have a huge back catalogue of mini albums from the winter albums to things like Overdose, Mama as well. I always forget Mama exists. And then of course you gotta mention the EXO memes. It's great. EXO meme-alicious. That's not a word.
It is a word.
is the word. Yeah, what I mean by this is, you know, that they have appeared on a lot of TV shows. They are very relevant in pop culture in South Korea, and you know, the members are definitely massive personalities in Korea right now. So that is an important thing, that you are influential, that you're involved in the country in order to be considered to be a legend. Was pink the right colour for this video? I'm just so worried, Kate, that pink is not the right colour for this video.
It'd be good if it was a video about Blackpink.
I really hope the microphone picked that up. I don't think it did, but still. Anyway, unfortunately, we now have to discuss why EXO are not legends, and unfortunately there is quite a lot to this. They're still a very young group. They actually only debuted in April of 2012, which is not quite 6 years ago. I generally find that most musicians tend to fade within sort of 5 years of the start of their career. Only really successful artists last for like a decade, and EXO haven't reached that point yet, so you never know what could happen between now and then. Certainly at this point of the conversation, you really do just have to remember that things change very quickly. You never know. If The War could be their last studio album. I doubt it will be, but it could be, and that's where their career would end. So can they be considered legends after only actually releasing music for 6 years? I also want to touch on something I mentioned in my Are EXO Overrated video. They don't write their own music, and this isn't especially relevant actually to South Korean music, but I think definitely in terms of a respect level from you know, industry legends, the fact that they don't write much of their own music can definitely be a criticism that is leveled towards the members, but I personally think is actually more of a criticism towards SM Entertainment for not allowing them to write more music. You guys all know I have a massive problem with SM. It's definitely not a secret that I'm not keen on the company and how they release their music and how they work on their music, but sort of neither here nor there. And of course, still talking about SM, EXO are the massive company backing them. You know, that their first studio album, the first album they released, sold over 1 million, and that it wasn't because it was a superb album. It was just because they had a massive label behind them, and they were already relevant because this label was able to advertise them so heavily. I do like the EXO album, but if EXO were just, you know, a band releasing music from, you know, that they'd recorded in their rooms, they never would have sold that many copies. And I do think that is sort of relevant to the conversation, but most South Korean boy groups do have the backing of a big label. And when you compare a group like EXO in South Korea, how relevant they are, how much influence they have, and then you compare to the legends of somewhere like the US, so I'm thinking legends in the rap industry like Jay-Z. Jay-Z has stayed relevant for about a 20-year career. And he is called a legend now, and it's not actually necessarily due much to the quality of his music, because a lot of Jay-Z's albums are very hit and miss, but it's the fact that he has stood there for so long and been a representation for his genre of music. Are EXO that for K-pop, for the Korean music industry? I certainly do have to question that, just because, you know, they've only been around 6 years and it's so early. And then of course, the final negative I want to touch on. EXO made the song Wolf. Oh, no, they're not legends. Just because of Wolf. Just because of Wolf, they're not legends. Not sure if you know Wolf, Kate, but it's Chogiwara, you know? Like, oh, Wolf. I just growled at the camera. I do some weird things whilst recording. I do some weird things. Anyway, in conclusion, personally, I do not think EXO are legends quite yet. I personally think the most important factor in this is that it's too early. Come back to me in 2-3 years if they're still around, if they're still relevant, if they're still making gains in the sales department, then I definitely think they can be considered legends, especially if they drop another Class A album like The War or Exodus. But in the end, being a legend it's all in the opinion of the beholder. That's not a phrase. It's very subjective, and people, you know, you can feel free to think they are legends. It's completely up to you. But critically and in terms of would they be in the Hall of Fame, I think it's a bit early. Anyway, that's where I'm gonna end today's video. Thank you very much for watching. I hope you have enjoyed. Don't forget to like, share the video, subscribe if you haven't already. Be greatly appreciated. More videos coming soon. Hopefully an EXO comeback in June, July. That's apparently when it's going to be happening. That would be great. Just great. Anyway, thank you very much for watching. I hope you've enjoyed. This is going to be Ginno signing out. See you guys soon. She's still here. She's still here. Get out!